record on this computer, send that puppy out, send me an email
Sounds good.
in private chat, like an email address, not an actual email. And
Yep, just did that.
okay, you get a choice. Do you want what looks like gritty fantasy, or what do you think this looks like? I don't know. Gritty fantasy or something goofing on Call of Duty.
The second one kind of sounds funny, so I guess I'll
Okay.
I'll do that.
Sean. Copy. Oh. Gift to a friend. Send an email. Control V. Send email. You are now the proud owner of Goat of Duty.
Sounds wonderful.
The
I'm
picture
very excited.
shows, in the grim darkness of the distant future, there is only war. There are only goats. It all started with a freak nuclear accident that gave all goats the necessary intelligence to quickly overthrow their human owners with their powerful rams, high jumps, and ear-blowing bleats. It's a picture of a goat with a flamethrower.
It sounds wonderful. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Yes. A goat with a robotic arm with a flamethrower is now what I see. Goat of Duty. Proud to be able to enable that. Hi everybody. Oh, I'm stretching. So it's my understanding that the DMs played last night. Is that true, McKenna? Yes. Or most of the DMs played last night.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't say anything. Have you given them all the PDF adventure?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Send them all the adventure in PDF form.
Yep.
And you have to share the Roll20.
Andrew's got to do that.
Andrew's going to do that.
Because
he owns it, right?
Yes. DMs,
Okay.
please send me the emails that are attached to your Roll20 account so I can give them to Andrew.
Yes, please. So that you can have the Roll20, all the tools and excitement of Roll20 brought to you.
Yay.
All the terrible history checks.
All the terrible history checks. It was, yeah. That's not a spoiler at all. It was just
it was just us. It was just us.
Oh, okay.
Having terrible rolls.
I love terrible rolls. They're
I got 5 natural ones.
You just got to make sure you're using your core.
So the hilarious thing, last Monday I was doing a firefight. I was running a game and doing this firefight, and basically I had 3 factions all shooting at each other with the players caught in the middle. And some of the factions were more sympathetic to the players than others. Some were shooting at the players. Some were not shooting at the players. And hilariously, because I was doing it in Roll20, so every time somebody would shoot, this was not D&D, this is another role-playing game, but same thing, except it's space. Pew pew pew. So for whatever reason, every time like the bad guy shot, they would just roll so high. They would just be like bam. And oh, they hit. Oh, they hit. Oh, they hit. And they could see the rolls. I'm not fudging anything. And then all the NPCs who are sympathetic to us, they'd roll like a 4 or a 6. And they're like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, I'm just pushing the button and rolling. I'm not doing nothing. And it got to be hilarious how every time the bad guys rolled, just bazanga, somebody would die. And every time the good guys rolled, nothing at all. So sometimes what we always say is the dice don't lie, right? And failures are just as interesting as successes. In fact, failures are usually more interesting than successes.
Especially when I had one time a little while ago, or actually, no, it was one of my first games I ever played. And we had a guy who was polymorphed into, or who was wild shaping. He was a druid as an Allosaurus. He decided he wanted to sneak up on lizard folk. He rolled something pitiful, like a 4. And then the lizard folk rolled like a 2. And so here's this giant Allosaurus sneaking up on a whole bunch of lizard folk. And then he proceeded to convince them that he was a pigeon after that. So it was great.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, lots to get through today. Hopefully. First, new quiz is up. Due Friday at midnight because everybody freaked out when I made it due at 5. So everything is now due at midnight. They tell us it's not good practice to have things due at midnight because it makes students stay up too late.
Because if you didn't assign it to midnight, I was going to be in bed 9 p.m. sharp.
Yes. But I think they're thinking of like 11-year-olds, not like college people. When they say that, because when I was in college, like midnight was not really a thing. Well, I guess it was a thing. Midnights happened, but I didn't notice when midnight rolled around. Right. David, you already don't sleep. They do tell us not to make things due at 8 a.m. Because then you stay up all night to hit that 8 a.m. deadline. So nothing will be due at 8 a.m. Amazingly, same with noon, right? If it's due at noon, you're more likely to stay up all night to hit that noon deadline than like get a good night's sleep and then wake up early and get that thing done by noon.
Honestly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So midnight it is. I always think it's silly because I'm like, the idea that I'm going to look at any of these at 1 a.m, not going to happen. But at least they're there in the morning when due at noon. See, please don't call me out. See, the assignment was due at noon and you pulled an all-nighter. I love it when I'm like, hey man, you weren't in class. What was going on? And the people are like, oh, I slept through it. I overslept. And I'm like, the class is at 4. What's the deal? You overslept for a 4 o'clock class?
No, it's those after lunch naps. I mean, they're deadly. They're deadly, I swear. Food comas, serious type.
You gotta for lunch. It's veggies and protein, not carbs.
That
Lay off the
depends.
pizza.
That entirely depends on who you are.
Okay. Quiz is due this week, Friday at midnight. I am going to tell you offhand, there is a Tacoma question this week because I missed it last week, so I put one on there this week. There's also let me go look. Let me look. Reading quiz 3. I'm not sharing my screen. Let's do a preview. There's a Tacoma quiz. There's a Dungeons and Dragons question. There's some questions from the Glassner reading this week. And finally, I've got 2 games for you to play this week. One by Thursday, one by Friday. The one by Thursday is called Facade. It is available for download from Canvas itself because they were giving it away free, so it doesn't matter. I'm not eating up their bandwidth. It is, how big is it? Files. Does it say how big it is? Facade installer. It is 819 megabytes big. There is one for Facade. There's one for D&D. There's one for Tacoma. Yes. And during the last hour, I have added another game called One Night Stand. I used to make you play this other game called Passage, but the more I know about the guy who made it, the more icky I feel about inflicting it upon you. So yes, Facade where you type to talk to the characters. Yes, it is. It is a full text parser. You're going to talk to the characters by typing. The other one, One Night Stand, is more choose your own thing. It's listed as a visual novel. It is $3 on Steam. $3. I know you're all poor. The quiz has the wrong TA name again because I just copy paste. Let's face it, I'm lazy, and I don't change anything.
Okay, we appreciate you, McKenna.
Wait. Edit. Do not despair. Wow, DeFay, the fabulous TA. That's 2 TAs ago.
Wow, not even one.
Save. Okay, now it's McKenna. Yeah. Okay, now it's McKenna. Quizzes. Okay. This is DO2. Yes. See? Refresh, and McKenna is now part of this. Who reads the instructions anyway? Come on. So okay. Read the Glassner, check out the D&D. Well, starting tomorrow, we'll make up groups. McKenna jumped the gun with doing it one day early. So it's okay. It's fine. Tomorrow we'll make D&D groups. And then the games for Thursday and Friday. So also on Thursday, Right Club 3 is due, and I haven't gotten through all of Right Club 2 because I ran out of time during office hours today. But I got through enough for a couple of observations. First, a lot of people, or a fair number of people, enough to make it worth saying, only put up one title. And especially those of you who put up artwork for your title, you only did one. And that's robbing yourself of two more chances to go with something decent. Right. So in some cases, putting your eggs all in one basket worked out, and in some cases, not so much. Now, I fully admit that this is entirely subjective. Okay, Eli, you put just one and you were proud. That's fine. You want to play on hard difficulty? That's up to you. You never know. I kind of gave people the benefit of the doubt this time, figuring maybe it's a miscommunication in how I explained it, but you get 3 tries. So even if you make some cool artwork, and I got some really cool artwork, that and you don't have time to make 2 more cool artworks, just type the name. It's okay, right? The artwork is icing on the cake. So just letting you know, you get 3 tries. 3 tries. And a lot of times, and I don't know if you're ranking them by how much you like them. Like, that's what I always think, is everybody likes their first choice, and then the number 1 is like the best I did, and number 2 is okay, and number 3, well, I got another one. But a lot of times number 2 or number 3 are better than number 1. So so just be aware of that. Give yourself 3 tries. Second, what was second? I got some good ones. I'm going to read you the good ones. Before I do that though, common problems that I saw. Number 1, too on the nose. And this is something that writers do a lot. You want to approach things from an angle. You want to, if I ask for a shooter, the title of a shooter based on Jane Austen's work, and your title is Austen Shooter, that's too on the nose, right? Fulfills the objective, but maybe you could have been a little more creative, right? So a lot of them were just very right there. The second I saw a fair amount of is word salad, which let's face it, lots of video games are their titles are word salad. Just throw in like war, duty, battle, honor, right? And throw all those things in some combination. Honor of duty, battle of war, right? Okay, that's a video game. Games like I go back to Kingdom of Amalur: Reckoning. What does that mean? Okay, it's a kingdom and it's some made up fantasy name, but what is the reckoning doing there? What is that? I could like the something bad is going to happen because of something they did in the past. Maybe, I don't know. Reaping. Okay, so then again, and here's the hilarious thing. Sometimes bad things become so bad that they become good again. Like, it's kind of like shooting the moon, where you wrap around in badness so far that you suddenly, I don't know why, but I like that. Like, that is terrible, and it is so terrible that it's good again. What was I've been watching people play what's this game? Not that. Not that. Where is it? It was a quick look. Not Genesis Noir. It's this new Square Enix game where it's cute. It's a platformer, and you put on costumes, and it's got the weirdest name ever. Anybody remember? Anybody following video games?
It's Balan Wonderworld by
Balan Wonderworld, exactly. What does that mean? Right? Balan Wonderworld. Who named that? Why? What does it tell you? Balan Wonderworld. Well, Balan is, I guess, a person, and there's a world, and it's full of wonder. I don't know. And let me tell you, this game is terrible. At first I thought, well, it's for kids, but why would have worked? Yeah, Balan's Wonderworld. Yes, exactly. Maybe have the possessive form of his name. So I don't think it's a good idea to subject children to bad games. And Balan is a weird name. Where'd they come? Anyway, Bob's Wonderworld. Now that sounds like a carnival, or Frank's Wonderworld. It sounds like down by the pier. They set it up overnight, and then it's only there for a weekend.
Even just like Adventures in Wonderworld, like at least it's not Balan.
I don't
Balan
know.
Wonderworld. That's just so.
I have no idea.
It's so weird. Why Balan or Balan? I don't even know how you're supposed to say it.
What?
That's just Balan's Wonder. You're right.
I've seen enough. Like, there's weird. So these little blobby, colorful things follow you around, and they're called Tims. And then I'm like, what, did you have a friend named Tim and he turned into these blobby things? Why are they called Tims? And in each level, there's like a giant person. And at the end, when you when you get to the end of the level, you find some horrible trauma that they've undergone. So in the first level, it's a farmer whose corn won't grow. And in the second level, it's a scuba diver lady who gets menaced by evil dolphins. And in the third level, I've only seen someone play the first 3 levels. And here's the thing. I watched an 1.5-hour YouTube video of people playing this game. Because I'm like, what is happening? Why? What were the decision-making processes involved here? Third level, it's a little girl in a school who likes insects, and all the other kids at school make fun of her and think she's creepy because she likes spiders and bugs. And she's sad. And then when you fight the boss, after you fight the boss, she's no longer sad, and you do a musical dance number with her to J-pop. So, I don't know.
The whole game is so sad because it was promoted as like a big return for the Sonic creators, Yuji Naka, and
Yeah.
it's really depressing to watch
Yeah.
this game just crumble. But
I don't know what was happening. So anyway, and this is a $60 game right now. I'm just baffled by the whole thing. So anyway, you guys came up with some, and I admit I haven't gotten through all of them yet. The on the nose one that I still like is called Killing Austin. Just because that's like Killing Eve, and I like that show. But it's also, I know what that game is. I am going to rampage through the English countryside looking for Jane Austen and trying to kill her. I am ready for that. The word salad, Emma's Bloody Romantic Massacre. You got a title, you got bloody, romance, and massacre. Every other word is so like shooters, Jane Austen. We take a word from Jane Austen, boom. A word from shooters, boom. A word from Jane Austen, boom. A word from shooters, boom. Title. We're done. I still like it. Hate and Hostility Battle Royale. I like it because it's got the cadence of a Jane Austen title without being so on the nose that it is a Jane Austen title. And then Ultimate Persuasion, which has to be said like that every time. Ultimate Persuasion, right? The other class had a lot of colons. You guys have only done one colon so far. And generally, like, remember, shorter is better. So most times when I get colons, either the thing before the colon is a perfectly good title, or the thing after the colon is a perfectly good title, and you have ruined it by putting them together. You could have gotten two answers out of that. But okay, somebody did Halo 1813, Pride and Prejudice. And I don't know what that means. Is Mr. Darcy running around on a Halo, fighting the what are they? The Brood? What are the zombie
The
things
Covenant.
in Halo?
Or
The what?
Flood. The zombies are the Flood.
The
The
Flood.
aliens are the Covenant.
Okay, the Flood. Yes. What is that? And so there's been a Pride and Prejudice and zombies, right? Where all the ladies in Pride and Prejudice are zombie killers. It was a book and a movie. It was Abe Lincoln, Vampire Killer.
Yeah. Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Which I actually read, and at the end of it, I was like, "That is awful. That is
It was not
terrible."
great.
I hated it because it reduced like the Civil War to this whole vampire thing, And I'm like, we're still dealing with fallout from the Civil War. It wasn't about vampires. Don't be dumb. Anyway, so
There's also a certain trope that I know a lot of people are not a fan of, especially POC creators and such, which is vampire who used to be a Confederate soldier.
yeah.
It appears in Twilight, it appears in other movies, and it's like, why? That's just dumb.
Evil on top of evil. Anyway, okay. So this week, let's pull it up, and I will actually put it on the screen. This week, you are going to name some stuff. Where's Zoom? Let's share my screen. Share the screen. Right Club number 3. You have to, like, writers have to come up with names all the time. Because think about this. You're employed as a writer at a game company. You write the story doc, right? And generally that's done in the preliminary the first month or so of production of a 2 or 3 year cycle. What do you do for the rest of the time? You write dialogue. Mostly you name things. So if it's, you got to come up with names for all your NPCs. Phil and Alice and Carol and Bob. Well, that tells me something about what kind of game it is. In this case, we are making an MMO. Yay! A massively multiplayer online game. That's all you get. As far as what kind of game it is. And it is loot based in that what we know about it is you kill things and you take their stuff. And the stuff that you take has to be named. And sure, we could just call everything +1 rifle, +2 rifle, +3 rifle, but that's boring. And we might even do that, but every once in a while, we'd want a super special rifle to come up, the Slayer. We got to, and as a writer, you've got to come up with those names. And I can't tell you how many times they'd be like, well, Dean, I need 50 names for hats. Not, and I'm like, what, like a +2 hat of charisma? And they're like, no. We know hat. But what are other names for hats? Because we're going to have 300 hats in the game. And we can't call them all hat. So what are other names for hats? Fedora. Exactly.
Sorry, before you get off the top, I was trying to wait until you off the topic of the other right club. But will we get individualized feedback?
Yeah. Little bit.
All right, okay, perfect.
Little bit.
I mean, it's a small assignment, so a little bit of feedback is all that.
Usually it's like I say, number 2 is the best, or none of these. This looks like word salad, or
all right, okay,
yeah, just a sentence or two. The big feedback is the number, right?
All right, okay.
Yeah,
and then so with naming, something I've always had trouble with naming is naming it before I've actually designed the thing. Like for when we did the character sheet, the name was always the last thing I did. And so I find that if I were to be in that position and I would have to name things before they even been made,
Yep.
I would just be inclined to just make them first and name them later.
Well, so here's the thing. If you want to do it that way, feel free, but now you're a gameplay designer and not a writer. So sometimes the gameplay designers will say, here's a list of all our hats, right? Here's what they do, name them. And sometimes they'll say, hey man, I have 20 hats, name those, but I need 30 more. So if you could help me out with names, then I can do the design for it. And usually as a writer, well, it depends on the size of the company, because many small companies have you wearing 3 or 4 hats, so to speak. But in my case, I was with a larger company, and the gameplay designers were the ones who described what it did in game, and they wouldn't let me touch that stuff. They just wanted me to name stuff and write words. So, or I was the guy who did the research, because it was based on Greek mythology. So I became a semi-expert on Greek mythology, and I'd be like, well, there's one story where Charon is not an old man rowing a boat. He's a giant demon. And they're like, he's a giant demon. We can make him a giant demon. Cool. That's a boss monster. Right.
Okay.
So, however you want to do it for this, but don't do, like, again, these should take 15 minutes max.
Yeah. Okay. So I just kind of have to just kind of push myself a little harder then in this situation.
Yeah.
All right.
So here, and you don't have to define things. You have to suggest things. So the example here is a pair of boots. Anything wearable or equipable. Hairstyles count, because if you know anything about the American Civil War, go watch one of the there was one called Gettysburg. The any film based on, well, the Ted Turner film. Ted Turner bankrolled a good couple of films because he was a big Civil War buff. And the real characters in the movies were the facial hair, because those dudes had some serious facial hair back then, all those generals and colonels and majors. And I just think it would be hilarious to have to have a game where facial hair actually boosted your stats. I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic, and they give me a wide variety of facial hair. Currently my dwarf has a fro and a Magnum PI mustache, and way cool sideburns. Anyway, so my example here is a pair of boots, and you notice I don't even call them a pair of boots, but they evoke a pair of boots, Sherman's Marchers. And if you know anything about the American Civil War, you'll know that Sherman was an American general, or a Union general, who led a march from, I believe, Mississippi to the sea, destroying railroads and stores, supplies, and eventually burning Atlanta. So he was, that whole march was known as Sherman's March, or Sherman's March to the Sea. So in this case, Sherman's Marchers might let you do more damage, maybe, or Sherman's Marchers might let you move faster.
You leave a trail of fire behind you.
Yeah, sure. So if you want to say what they do, that's fine. I don't need that. As usual, shorter is always better. Note, you can include one short, but you can include a short description, but self-explanatory is always better. You should evoke American Civil War and stuff. So in any MMO, there's, pants, there's shirts, cloaks, right? Or hoods, hats, weapons, uh, rings. I don't know what's an American Civil War ring. Um, Up to you. Come up with stuff that would be in an MMO about the American Civil War. Feel free to Google anything. I got one person, I'm not sure in this class, who said, who put in a little comment, I know nothing about Jane Austen, but I tried. And I'm like, you had days. You could have gone to Wikipedia. I don't know. Go to Wikipedia. I'm not. Trust me. In video games, AAA video games, you can find direct quotes from Wikipedia because some poor writer had to get this done today and knew nothing about it and went to Wikipedia, looked it up, and just pulled. I'm not saying that's right. You should never do that. But it happens. And once again, you get 3 chances. 3 chances to get it. Only one of which has to be amazing. Shoot for amazing. Yeah, you can only walk to the Atlantic. You can only walk east with Sherman's marchers on. You can never walk west. Cursed boots. Okay. So that's Right Club. That's due Thursday, just to spread things out. And what else? The games are due. I will also be playing One Night Stand on Wednesday at 3 on my Twitch channel. I will be streaming. Come by, tell me what to do. Literally both Facade. You can do a run of Facade in 30 seconds, or like a good run might be 20 minutes. And you'll probably want to do more than one run of Facade because you will screw things up. It's real time. And you'll want to try something else. One Night Stand, you only have a certain amount of clicks. It's not real time. It's you can do this or you can do this, but there's also a kind of ticking clock. So if you do these 3 things, you're not going to have time to do those 2 other things. So like most visual novels, there are very different endings. And again, it takes 15-20 minutes to get through a run of One Night Stand. And I haven't gotten through all the endings to One Night Stand. But honestly, I got the and they have different names. There's like The Friends, The Jerk. I don't think I've gotten the We Fall in Love ending, and I'm not even sure that that's an ending. I don't know. They're all achievements. So you'll know which you got by the achievement you get at the end. Let me see if it's on itch. I think it's on itch. One Night Stand. It is on itch, and it is $3 on itch again. So either way, if you don't like Steam, you can certainly play it on itch. It might have been part of man, that bundle for social justice. I don't know how to, let's see. How do I get my games? Upload new sales and bundles. Host. I can host a game jam. My library. Search, view all, show on my profile. How do I search among my games? Anybody know? There's like over 1,000 games in that bundle
On itch
on
still
itch.
or on Steam?
On Itch.io.
It's in
Oh,
it.
I have no idea. I know
It's
on
in it.
Steam.
You
It
can
is,
go to the you can go to the racial justice bundle and then just type in one night stand and search it. And it's in there.
Okay, racial justice and equality. So it is in there. So I do own it on itch. Huh. Well, then why, when I searched it, didn't it say one night stand? Let's see. No, it's still telling me I can buy it, but I must already own it. I don't know. Anyway, if you own the bundle on racial justice and equality, which is over 1,000 games, you probably own it already. Back last summer when BLM was protesting, they did that. One Shot is an absolutely amazing game. I don't know. Oh, they didn't auto add it to library to avoid issues. Okay. I don't know how to get to it in my library. View all. I don't know. How do you search all these my purchase? How do you search your stuff? One night stand.
Yeah, I'm looking how to search right now as well, because yeah, I can't find it either.
You're talking about in the bundle, the racial
Yeah, how do you
justice.
search the bundle for a game?
So when you go, okay, so like you know how to get to the bundle, right? So you go to my
Yeah.
library, my purchases.
Bundle for racial justice.
Yep. So if you
and
click on
equality.
that,
Oh, search by title. Here we are.
yeah, it's right next to the next button to the other side.
Okay. One night stand. Okay. I'm gonna say download. I'm gonna play it. Well, nah. Honestly, I already own it on Steam, so I'm probably gonna play it on Steam. Okay. So if you have the bundle, you own it already. Go find it. Otherwise, it's on Steam or itch for $3. Or can you still buy the bundle? Or is that bundle over? The bundle's over? Okay. Anyway, okay. So there's that. Next. Oh, I'm out of time. How did that happen? Jeez Louise. Okay. So I've got to talk about breaking stories a little bit, but I can do it tomorrow. And authorial contract. I meant to here talk about that. Scared yet? No. Okay. How to break a story in space rather than time. Because D&D is broken in space. You go places and you experience pieces of a story. Okay. So I will finish grading the right clubs. And I also have to give you credit for the characters that you uploaded. And remember, Hero's Journey stories are due at midnight tonight, right? The ones you write with a partner. So I hope everybody got together with their partners and wrote that story. I can't wait. Okay. I guess we're done for today. I had so much more to say. So the DMs are off the hook for playing tonight. Actually, this is better because I always felt bad that the DMs were like freaking out about getting their hero's journey story done, and I was making them play D&D. But apparently you'll have tonight to push it to the limit and get your hero's journey stories in. Okay. So
Totally unintended, but good.
Yeah. Actually, McKenna, can you hang out a second and we'll get rid of everybody else? And we'll move along. So thank you all for coming. I will see y'all tomorrow, and we will break up into D&D groups. Okay, bye.